Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Pink Moon Lodge with your hosts, Patti Lucia and Amy Kruzik.
Today, Italian Thanksgiving and what to do with those gravy boats.
Squash casserole, ancient thunderstorms, and other ways to celebrate summer.
And let's not forget Patty's Bucky's experience.
I've got the t-shirt to prove it. Hello and welcome to the Pink Moon Lodge. This is episode 2. I'm your host, Patti Lucia, and I am with
Amy Kruzik. We're back.
We're back. We are back. And we are so grateful for the positive feedback we got from our first episode. We had no idea how that was going to fly.
No, we didn't. And I want to say thank you to all the members on our Facebook page, Pink Moon Lodge. Thank you, everybody.
We are, so every few days we've got more, we see more coming. And again, that's Pink Moon Lodge on Facebook. And so you can follow us there. We'll start putting up, all kinds of interesting content. And that's where you can put questions and comments as well. And we love that. We love that kind of feedback, especially now when we're kind of getting our sea legs, figuring this, building the bridge as we cross it, I guess. That's life.
That's right. Life. And it's swimming weather, here on the East Coast. So, get the legs going.
Get the legs swimming legs, trying to connect that, Amy. I'm trying to connect it.
Come on.
Because I swim 5 times a week now. So you say legs, and I'm thinking when I'm swimming, and this is an issue, I've been talking to people about it. When I'm swimming and I'm doing my laps, I forget to kick. My legs are just like, ooh, we're just along for the ride,
you gotta kick them, make a splash.
And but it's funny because I've talked to other, I talked to my cousin. He says, well, I have the same thing. I forget. Oh, kick. So when you said, oh, your legs. So I actually, this week, I've been in the pools, swimming and saying, remember to kick, just kick those legs, kick those legs.
Come on, keep them moving.
Keep them moving.
Yeah.
So that's funny. You're saying swimming legs. And I'm like, I don't think so.
Yes.
But at any rate, that's funny. I am officially in Georgia. So, I talked about, yes, I'm very happy to be here. So, I talked about how my journey looked like packing my whole life, scaling down my life so that whatever I was taking with me would fit into my Ford Focus, which it did. And I traveled up to Georgia where I live. I live with some precious family members. So this has been lovely. It's been a whole, it's a whole change of environment. I have been, I have this ritual in the morning where I would sit out, with my coffee and listen to the birds. And of course, down in Florida, because I live by a lake, there was all waterfowl. So the egrets and the herons and all of that. And up here, it's very, very different. This morning, I was enjoying my coffee and watching a hummingbird, and it was just absolutely.
Oh, those are amazing.
Absolutely precious to just kind of watch this little hummingbird flit about while enjoying a good cup of coffee. So it's been wonderful. One of the first things, of course, and I told. So for those of you who are listening, I told Amy, it's like, well, okay, you want me to start off? I'm going to kind of start talking about food. I just want you to know, because
of course
that's been very much part of my initiation into to Georgia life is the food. So I was on my way up.
Tell us the first thing you ate.
First, okay, so my cousin Richard met me in Valdosta and drove the rest of the way. And that was wonderful. We had such a great time. And I really did appreciate being able to split split the drive. So we're driving and he's like, well, because he's a foodie. And I'm like, oh no, I'm in trouble. I've got cousins that are foodies. I'm going to have to hit the gym, every day, with these southern foodies.
Yeah.
Right. So, he said, well, if you want to get initiated into real good old Southern cooking, then you've got to come to this place with me. And I think it was is north of Georgia, but I actually don't even know, to be honest with you. I can't remember what town it was in, but it's called SNS something, and it's actually cafeteria style. And he said, okay, so just follow me, we're going to come in here and you're going to get your tray and you just tell them what to put on. Just look at you could look at the menu. He's saying, and just pick. And so it was awesome, and the people were very friendly, and of course it's real down home cooking.
Oh yeah.
And so I would say the two things that stand out from that first meal in Georgia, because it was officially my first meal in Georgia, was the turnip greens.
Yep.
Oh my God, turnip greens and with pepper sauce.
Wow.
My cousin said, you got to put pepper sauce on everything. Put pepper sauce. Here you go. Put pepper sauce. I didn't even recognize the jar was that didn't even look like anything I've used before. And so I'm sprinkling it on my stuff. So, turnip greens and cornbread stuffing.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, I'm in deep trouble here. I'm in deep trouble. So cornbread stuffing, and it was really amazing. And the people who served it up were friendly and kind, and it was a real pleasant experience. The next day, which was Sunday, cousin Vicky decides that because they've gotten some wonderful yellow squash, that we were going to have squash casserole. And I was like, squash what? Squash what? And I guess it's a thing. That squash casserole, so yellow squash casserole. Wow. And that was really, really amazing. So it is a southern thing, lots of yellow squash growing, and it's abundant. So now anywhere I go where, like, I'm going up north for a wedding, and my sister has a garden and she grows a lot of yellow squash, I'm going to be like, look, I've got this recipe. That's right now. So yeah, squash casserole.
Wow.
It's yeah, it's a
I can't even imagine. How about gravy? Gravy's big down south.
Yeah,
in the South, gravy.
Yeah,
no.
haven't had the Southern gravy experience. Yeah. I know you are into gravy. You like gravy.
Oh, don't start.
Okay. I'm just saying, you're a gravy girl.
I like Italian gravy.
Yeah.
The red sauce.
That is not gravy. That's sauce.
We call it gravy.
Why?
Because you just pour it on. You just pour it on your
tomato.
Are
you talking about pasta sauce?
Yes.
Red pasta sauce.
Yes. Yeah. It's gravy.
What part of Italy is your family from?
They're from.
I don't want to say, I don't mean any disrespect to anyone's ancestors. I'm just trying to clarify here.
Help me, Grandma.
What?
No. Yeah. Gravy on that pasta. Put that gravy on that pasta.
Okay, so wait a minute. We've got to, all right. And okay. Excuse us, audience, but we've got to kind of work something out here.
We got to work it out.
Amy and I have to work something out here, and you guys are just along for the ride. Okay, so we're going to talk about pasta. Okay, so spaghetti.
Yeah.
So when you put spaghetti on it, does the spaghetti already have sauce on it?
No.
So you put your spaghetti on the dish, sauceless, naked, helpless, on the plate.
Okay. Yes. It needs to have
and then you have your red sauce in a
you could take it from the pan.
Oh, okay. So we'd use a ladle.
Ladle.
Kind of
Yeah, you could
ladle it
ladle on. You
on.
could pour it in a little gravy boat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In a gravy boat. So you put your red sauce in a gravy boat? So no, really, do you?
If there's a lot of people around, you need several gravy boats, right? One time we did Thanksgiving and we did pasta. We didn't do any turkey. We had
Wow.
all Italian Thanksgiving. Oh my
Really?
God, it was fabulous. It was
Mm.
fabulous.
Mm. Well, so
So
in
then
that
you need the
case,
gravy boats. See, we still have
right.
the gravy
Well, you're
boats.
not using them for the turkey gravy, so you might as well use them for
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah.
Why
So the
store them
gravy.
away? Why store them away for
Yeah,
the
and
year?
I bet you have very pretty gravy boats, don't you?
But they're handed down actually
I knew it. And
from
they're ceramic?
they're China. Some of them are
They're
China.
China.
Some of them are pottery.
I
Yeah.
knew it.
Well, that's my mother-in-law's China was handed down. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have to
I
use the
have
China. We have to use the Thanksgiving China.
yeah. I mean,
We're
come
not
on.
having turkey. We've got to put something in these gravy boats.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
we had
it's
different kinds of sauces. Yeah, that was actually a really nice tradition.
oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it
you have different sauce.
was. It was. It was a really cool thing. I know it's too early for Thanksgiving, but now you're giving me ideas because we only did it once a couple
Mm,
years ago.
mm. So this is what so okay, so I got to tell you. So Sundays,
Yeah.
right? My father, who didn't really get in the kitchen except for on Sundays, he would start on Saturday night making the sauce for Sunday
Mhm.
dinner. All right.
Mhm.
And so we would have, often chicken cacciatore that had been
Mhm.
cooking all night, or maybe a meat sauce that had been cooking all night, which is wonderful because you get that simmering wonderful,
Yeah.
a little stick on the bottom. They would say, it's got to stick a little on the bottom, it's got to stick
Yeah.
a little, and you stir it in, it's good. So we had that, and it was always wonderful, except the price we paid was that when we woke up on Sunday mornings to go to church and get ready to go to church, and maybe we wanted a little breakfast, there would be pasta sauce everywhere in little bowls, everywhere, his little tasting bowls. And of
Yes.
course, if we had any Italian bread in the house, it was gone because he had spent the evening and into the night dipping it in these little tasting bowls. So it was a
Yes.
whole, I don't know, whole sacred ritual for him. Who knows? We
Yeah.
were all in bed and he's, puttering in the kitchen. But in the morning, we had a lot of cleaning to do. We had a
Yeah.
lot of, if we were going to even fry an egg, we had a
A
lot of
lot of
cleaning,
cleaning
a
to
lot of
do.
cleaning to do. But that sauce was really amazing. But so we serve spaghetti. So our
Yeah.
spaghetti, you would always, and this was my training, is you would always put a little sauce in the pasta so that it didn't stick. So when the pasta is
Well, right. Yeah.
served, it's got, yeah, you didn't say
Yeah.
that. You
Well,
served
I
your
did.
pasta naked.
Well, naked's nice, right? You know?
Good. Yeah. Good
Okay,
catch.
naked's
Good
good.
catch. Good
Naked's
catch.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying a little, you're right. It will stick together, especially homemade. We did the homemade, it was a really great, like, with tradition and bringing to family together, we all made
Mm-hmm.
raviolis the night before.
Nice.
You do your pasta with the little, and we did the raviolis with the little, you ever do that with the cup? And then you do the little fork around and you get the little together.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Just,
Very traditional.
yeah, so traditional. So they come out really, really like, different sizes and
Mm-hmm.
different yeah, oh, it was so cool. But that
That's
does we're talking about ancestors, I mean, they're
yeah, yeah.
probably
No, this sounds
singing. They're
yes.
singing, they're singing.
And I don't think that the ancestors really care if you use the China gravy bowl,
No, no.
gravy
I just
bowls.
have it, so why
Just
not use it?
happen. Yeah, yeah. So we would, like,
Yeah.
when we had pasta, it would be like in this big pasta pot. And, my dad would put a couple of, pot holders on the table, put that pot on the table,
Yeah.
and say, all right, pass your dishes, and he'd serve up the dishes.
Yeah.
And we might have a container with a little extra sauce, and of course the cheese and stuff. But yeah, but the pasta pot would be on the table,
Right, right.
as we're eating. So, not really fancy, but it was
Still
really, really,
tastes good. Still
yeah,
tastes good,
it
right?
was still really delicious. And my dad, the tradition was to drink that like a red Italian table wine that like came in a gallon glass jug. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but
One
it's
those
like,
big
yeah,
oh, it's like what was that called? Rossi, something in Rossi, I
Martini
swear.
and Rossi,
Martini.
Martini
They
and
have the
Rossi.
big glass jugs.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know if it was Martini and Rossi. I don't
I
know
don't
what it
know.
was. You say Martini and Rossi, and I think that commercial. Remember the commercial for Martini and Rossi?
No. At this moment, I don't.
I'll sing it to you.
Okay, ready? Go.
Martini and Rossi on the rocks. Say yes.
Say yeah.
Say yes.
Oh, I love that.
So sexy. I have to run out there
Right?
and buy myself some Martini
Wow.
and Rossi.
What a marketing tool they
I
had.
want someone to say yes to me like that.
Yes. Hey, you never know in Georgia.
What,
Mm,
really?
mhm.
Okay.
You might
Okay.
be.
Okay.
You know,
No,
you got
you
go
never
ahead.
know. You never know.
You never know.
Stop encouraging me, Amy. One thing
Yeah,
at a time.
I'm an inspirational person. I will inspire you.
well, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
We'll see about that.
You never
But
know. You meet people at weddings too. You meet people at weddings. You meet people
yeah, I know. I'll have
supermarkets.
lots of opportunities to
Yeah,
meet
you
people
will.
and charm the pants off of them. No,
Yes.
no pun intended. But at any rate, did we want to? So I think one thing that I just want to say about this journey so far is it's been absolutely a beautiful
Yeah,
experience to be with family. I will
yeah.
say it's been absolutely wonderful to be with my family. They are loving, they are wonderful, and it just feels really warm and comforting to be with them, to share meals with them,
Yeah.
to share stories and laughs with
Right.
them. So
Yeah,
that's
stories.
yeah, yeah. So that's wonderful.
And this is
I'm
the Lucia side?
oh, Lucia
Lucia
side.
side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're all very, very happy to be spending time together and reconnecting and kind of, and they're thrilled to be part of this, this part of my journey. So
Yeah. I'm
so
so
that's been
excited.
lovely. Yeah,
So
this,
excited for you.
sleeping well, I just feel it's interesting. It's a different vibe here.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
it's a little hard to describe. The air is different.
Yeah.
Just the feel of the place is different. I wanted to continue. Here's a story. I wanted to, I'm kind of committed to I have to kind of um keep physically fit or get back into being physically fit since my injury, right? A year
Yeah.
ago. And I had been going to LA Fitness. And LA Fitness is not my gyms in general are not really my vibe, but I put up with
Yeah.
LA Fitness because of the pool. Right?
Yeah.
The pool and that steam room and the whirlpool. It's
Oh,
like,
steam room.
oh
Yeah.
God, I love that, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I got here and there was an LA Fitness, but it really wasn't that great. It wasn't that clean and everything. And I mentioned it to my cousin. He's like, let me bring you to the Y. I was like, really? The Y?
Mm.
My
Yeah.
memories of Y is like, are they really that great?
R
He brought me to this Y
the
and I've kind of fell in love with it. Like the
Mhm.
lighting, it was light, it was fresh, it had a really nice vibe. And here's what I absolutely loved about it. Um, there wasn't any club music playing.
Oh, yes. Right? Like,
There was no club music play. That's one thing because
yeah.
I like to kind of be peaceful when I'm at
Yeah.
the gym. I
Yeah.
want to kind of go about and
Yeah.
it's kind of my zen thing. And there's this wah 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 wah.
I know, and you're trying to listen to your own music.
Yeah, well, actually, I
You
don't.
can't.
I
Oh, you
don't
don't?
really, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes I would in the past, but now I actually don't listen to music. I kind of just
Mm,
go in and I'm kind of quiet and not really listening to music. I'm kind of in my own thoughts and stuff. So I mean there've been times when I have, but it's really a shame when you have to play your music loud enough to be louder than the
I
music
know. Yeah.
that's in the gym. And it's not a scene either, like
Not a
the
scene.
the yeah, yeah, you
No,
know what I mean? It's kind
I
of like, whoa, this is really
know.
this is not just a gym, it's like a whole scene. It's a whole selfie scene. Like everything
Yeah.
is about, you go into the dressing rooms, it's like, can I you have to like be careful not to get caught as like, in the background of someone's selfie.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
That's
crazy, but
crazy.
there was just none of that. And it was just a kind of a beautiful experience, and they have everything that I want. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm leaving you, LA Fitness.
Right. But goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Go back to
You
the
know.
childhood YMCA. Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
used to love going. And that back then, this was probably the 70s. I don't know. We take swimming lessons there, right? But it
Mm-hmm.
was my parents really couldn't afford it. It became like either a Christmas gift or a birthday gift. Like
Mm.
and it was probably only like $16. I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
9 of us,
Uh
But it was cool. It was kind of like this old building. It was in this old hotel building and I could
yeah.
walk to it. So, I mean, now they're double decker
Yeah,
YMCA's.
they're
They're
bigger, but they've
huge.
grown and everything, and you could tell this was like definitely more of a modern kind
Yeah.
of kind of building. But they are very um they are very, very good about taking care of the facilities. And
Yes.
it is Young Men Christian
Yeah.
Association, and so there's a particular mission statement, there's a particular commitment that they've kind of followed through over the years
Mhm.
that I really appreciate. I'm actually I'm having a nice time hanging out with all the Christians I'm meeting, to be honest with you. It's
Yes.
like, yeah, I like you guys. Thank you. I mean, I
Yes.
really, I like you guys. We'll talk more about that
Yeah. Yeah.
as we go along, but just kind of really, really decent folks. And I think that that's one of the reasons why the YMCA is just kind of like
Yeah.
this chill place. There's not that club music, there's not that scene. People are working out, they're minding their own business, they're
Mhm.
kind of just they're there to kind of do. And then there are the children too, which I really
Yeah.
love. So
Yeah, I
they have a
know.
kiddie pool, so you don't have to worry about the kids getting in your lane or anything. They're in an entirely different pool, but they're just kind of around, and they've got the little
Yes.
things around their waist, and they're just like and waiting to like shower off, and I'm just giggling. I'm like,
That's where
so
you
darn,
that's
they're so darn cute.
I
Oh
know.
my God.
That's where they learn to kick their legs,
Yeah.
Patty.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, I missed that.
They hold the little,
Yeah, the little,
surfboard, I
yeah. Do you know I'm
little
gonna,
and they kick.
yeah,
Maybe
those are available for adults too, so I will
I
be doing that.
yeah, maybe just to get your
Whatever.
butt.
Yes, okay. Whatever. Yes, I am gonna work on my kick. I
Work on
am
that kick.
work
Come
on,
on.
oh my
Work
God.
on that kick.
All
Come on,
right.
kick it in, girl. Kick it in, girl. Kick it.
So I will be working on that, and obviously I
Yes.
will need to keep you
Keep
posted
keep me posted.
on, yeah, on my swimming form
How
at
what
my
your
form.
splash is. You gotta do a
Yeah,
big splash.
I've got to make a bigger splash than I've been
Make a
making. Yeah,
splash.
make a splash in the
Yeah.
world. All
Think
right.
about that. Let's make our splash just like Pink Moon Lodge. We're making our splash, guys.
We're making our splash. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah,
Pink Moon Lodge. We I hope so. It's been really quite a journey, though, I have to tell you. It's been absolutely lovely. So I just wanted to share my gym story, because that was one of the things that was one of those, oh my goodness, yes, this is more of what.
Exactly. Think the energy difference from the
Mhm.
club, LA Fitness to that,
Yeah, yeah.
such a more kind of chill place to
It's
me.
chill, it's very
Yeah.
peaceful. It's
Yeah.
it's just very peaceful, very friendly. And that's exactly what I was looking for, when I was coming
Yeah.
up. So it's nice to
Yeah.
be having more and more of that experience.
You
So
know, you were talking about the Christian, and I know we talked a little bit about it the other day. Um,
mm, yeah.
it's funny you brought it up because I go this certain route to where I go and to where I need to be. And I see this little billboard. So there's little billboards, not those big, huge ones. It's just this little
Yeah.
billboard. And it said, "Today you passed by, one day you'll pass on. Are you ready?"
That's cool.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
thinking,
And
"Wow, am I ready? Am I
yeah.
ready?
And
I'm
the
not
thing is,
ready. I'm not ready to pass on."
okay, Amy. All
Not
right.
yet,
Well,
but I
then
know
you
what they're trying to
then
say.
you
They're
better
saying
wear your seatbelt.
but I know what they mean by being ready. Are you ready?
Well, yeah, and
This
I think it's not just a question for Christians. I think Christians will
No.
ask it, and they might have their own reasons for asking it, but I think it's an important question to ask. And to be honest with you, I've said this to other spiritual folks, and I've said I don't think we talk about death enough.
No.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't think we talk about it enough. I think we
Yeah.
avoid it, and so we continue to fear it, and all that talk that we do about, well, we're just,
Yeah.
moving on, like, many of the people I know, believe in reincarnation. You move on to the next
Right.
life and so forth, and
Right.
that's fine, but I think you can kind of intellectualize stuff about death, but I do think it's important to talk more about it, and we don't. We
No,
really,
we
we
don't.
really don't
We
talk
don't.
about death. But yeah, I think like so let me just share.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my cousins are Christian, and they go to a local church, which is actually a pretty big church that
Yeah.
streams to all of
Those
these different places.
Mhm.
And, I mean, I couldn't even imagine going to a church where there are 3 to 5,000 people
Mhm.
in attendance. It's like, oh my
Mhm.
God. So, but anyway, because it was Sunday, they didn't want to go. They wanted to stay home, because it was my first full day with them. So they wanted to spend the morning with me. And I thought that was really sweet. But they wanted to watch their service. So I sat in the living room and I watched it
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting next to my cousin Randy, and I am looking at it, and just the music of it, I was like, this is really beautiful.
Mhm.
It's emotional, it's beautiful, the message is really beautiful, and I was watching the whole thing, and at one point I just turned to him and I said, that's why there's so much that's why, say, the powers that be or government or whatever,
Mhm.
are coming after the Christians. And I looked at the screen and I said, you can't control that.
Yeah.
These people cannot be controlled, they cannot be coerced. So whatever people think about Christians is like they are it's very, very clear that they are committed to their higher power. They're not going
Mhm.
to be coerced or threatened by politicians, by ideologies,
Yeah.
by any of that stuff. They have, their allegiance and their commitment is to a much higher source. And this actually came up this past week, and I don't really watch I try not to watch too much news. I kind of know what's
Right.
going on and whatever.
Yeah.
But there was the whole Durham presentation to Congress. Now, Durham was the one who did all this investigation about, just the whatever, the election
Mhm.
stuff and whatever. And I have a lot of respect for the man. So Durham is presenting to Congress, and he is coming under serious fire, by some members of Congress, um, who want to kind of derail his findings or whatever.
Mhm.
And at one point, and this is on YouTube, and at one point, this congressman is coming after him and saying, you know, aren't you concerned about your reputation because you're associated with so and so and so and so and so and so? Aren't you concerned? You should be concerned. You should be concerned as you know,
Yeah.
about your reputation. You know, basically saying you're ruined. Your reputation is ruined because you've done this. And Durham just being totally, he's just kind of totally calm and everything. He said, I would like to, he lets the person moderator know, I would like to respond to that. And some of our listeners probably saw this, and I
I don't
thought it
know.
was phenomenal. He said, just in terms of my reputation, I have no concerns about what anyone thinks about me except for um my family, those I love, and my Lord.
Yeah. Wow.
And people, you know,
Wow.
people in the room applauded. And this is an example of what I'm
Wow.
talking about, is that what I respect is their backbone. They
Yes.
have backbone. So you might, you know, and listen, I don't agree with, like, you know, I was listening to that service and I respected so much of what went on in that service, especially what they were doing with children and all of that. Not did I agree with everything that the preacher said? No, but
Mm.
I really respect what, you know, what they
Yeah.
are doing in terms of, like, one thing that I will say that I really respect is that they have a backbone. So Durham is an example of someone who has a backbone, and it doesn't matter how much fire he comes under,
Mm.
he is not going to cave because he has his allegiance, and it isn't, and his, who who he's most committed to isn't even in it's not even in the room. It's,
Yeah.
you know, it's his
Yeah.
family, it's his loved ones, it's his Lord. Boom, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think he has a backbone. Now, one thing that I have to say though, and people might not, you know, well, you know, you're the pink calligraphy one, and I'm not, you know, so I'm
Okay.
the
Right.
I'm the
Right.
bar napkin, you know, whatever. So I think one, this is just an observation I've made, and I would
Hmm.
love to hear in the comments like what people think about this. But like, especially in the last few years, I haven't really seen a lot of spiritual folks with a whole lot of backbone,
Hmm.
with a whole lot of backbone. Like you know, they've caved. Like, people don't speak out about what's going on in
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in other words, you know, we call ourselves spiritual and yet support war.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
call ourselves spiritual and we support that horrible war, even to the point where someone says, well, it might go nuclear.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't hear an outcry from the spiritual community. So, what happened to that as part of our spirituality? Or speaking out about some of the controversial ideologies that target children? Well, where
Yeah.
are the spiritual people now? Where's your backbone? Where is the thought that these are sacred vessels, and, you know, maybe we shouldn't, you know, I don't know, cut them up and try to
No.
alter them. Oh, maybe,
Yeah.
you know, what happened to the notion that our souls pick our bodies for a reason? And so are all the spiritual people saying, well, in the last 10 years, I guess our souls have been really screwing up. They've been just picking the wrong ones. So we got to just do something about it. I don't know
Yeah.
what happened in the last 10 years. Our souls have just been, I don't know. But before that, our souls were picking bodies that were perfect, perfect for their journey. But, you know, screw it up. You know, I mean, like, how do you
Yeah.
rationalize this, you know, these belief systems that supposedly have been really strong in terms of like our belief in nature, in the
Yeah.
natural way, and our ancestors, and the sacredness of the human form.
We
And
got away from that. We got
we
away from that.
we've gotten away from that to the point where,
Yeah.
but I think what's happened and what I've observed is that a lot of spiritual folks have let their politics and political ideology drive the car,
Yeah.
and they've put their spiritual beliefs in the trunk. So
right?
it's their politics that are driving, and I don't know what happened. Their spirituality is like what in the back seat, in the
We
little
drive.
in the little car seat strapped in, not saying anything, right? Or in
Right.
the trunk.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to say, I have to be honest, I don't really follow politics. I never really
Yeah,
have. And I think because my mom used to listen to the radio and it would just blare out. I think
yeah,
I just tuned it out because she just listened to the talk radio back in the day,
yeah.
when the
That was
local
that
yeah,
was the
when the local
thing.
TV, yeah.
Yeah, that was
So
the
that
thing.
really just, so I did not pay attention to it, and I
Mhm.
honestly still don't. Um, you know,
Yeah.
I get little flashes of what the news in my phone, but,
Mhm.
mm, I don't, and maybe that's an ignorance of mine. I just don't choose.
Yeah.
It doesn't resonate with me, honestly, because they're gonna do what they're gonna do.
Mhm.
What you know,
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
have they done that we've really
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I mean,
scouted for?
I no, I agree with you. Um, and I do think though that when it comes to children,
Yeah.
then oh,
Yeah, but Patty, all
then
that red tape in school. I mean, look at the education system.
what about it?
The red tape. It's like they've made schools just go by the test. So
Mm-hmm.
they get money, so they get funded. It's
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
you're just
Mm-hmm.
teaching the test. What happened to the old-fashioned ways of teaching back in the day when we were in school?
Yeah.
It
Well, our
really
education has, yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
it's deteriorated. I mean,
it
I'm really
is.
glad I got out when I did, and I was resistant to getting back into education. And I will tell you this, I was really resistant to getting back into education after my cafe closed. But I got back into it because I realized that even though I don't like the system at all, and I don't agree with what the system, like the
Yeah,
educational system, it didn't mean that I couldn't, in that environment, make a difference for someone.
exactly. I That's exactly. It's like
Yeah,
one-on-one with a
yeah,
child. I mean,
yeah.
the
Or
preschool
in groups. It's kind of
learning
like,
support. Yeah.
it's a little bit
Yeah.
like, I think, a similar position as perhaps many nurses might find themselves in,
Mhm.
where they get into nursing. Why? Why do you become a nurse? Do you have a calling, right? There's that, and I think that there's a spiritual aspect to our
Yeah.
callings,
There.
right? Especially
Yeah.
when it has to do with service, like teaching,
Mhm.
nursing, anything to do with healing. And so we want to make a difference. We want to have a positive
Exactly.
impact on children. We want to be part of somebody's healing process. When these are ideas, and then we get into these systems that are not designed
Mm-mm.
for, and as a matter of fact, they are kind of antithetical to, and which creates an enormous amount of burnout, because here you are now, in a system that, where basically are you going to adjust your ideals, to, so that you can survive in the system, and a vast
Yeah.
majority of people do, um you know but um often that is the experience. Is you get into the system, you have all of these ideas, you want to do these things, and the system is not set up
Mhm.
to do those things. um so that I think nurses have, like people like nurses have a
Yeah.
similar kind of
Yeah.
experience. But then, if you're a nurse, you think you could do what I did and kind of go in and say, I know that
Yeah.
the system is, it's a terrible system. I have a lot of disagreements, but if I can give compassionate care
Yeah.
to,
Yes.
to a few people every day, then I feel like I am fulfilling my purpose. I am
Mhm.
still making a difference, even though I'm working in a system that does not support me,
Yeah.
doing what I, fully what I want to do. So I'm going to do it to the extent that I can,
Yes.
within the system.
You
Yeah.
know, I, yeah, teaching was great, and then because I do have several nurses in my couple I have 2 sisters that are nurses and my aunt's nurses, and, maybe I've learned from them, but I remember, you're talking about death, and
Mm,
when my father and my father-in-law died within a year of each other. I had a lot of deaths within this 1 year almost
Mm.
like five deaths within a year,
When
and
was that?
that was like 1999 to
Wow.
2000. So that
Mm.
year, I was in my 30s, mid-30s, 2 young kids, you know, but then after I got home and, I signed up to do hospice because I needed to
Ah,
know
good
what
for
it
you.
was like
Mm,
to be with death,
mm,
and to visit people on their deathbed, and,
mm,
it just kind of, like, either helped with my
mm,
grief, you
mhm,
know, um, at the time, but like you said, it was like I honed in on one little thing that I know that I needed for my support, and, thanking these people that are on their deathbed for their support in
mm,
helping me, yeah.
mhm,
It's just a great I get chills every
mhm.
time because, like, I
Yeah,
remember their faces. It's like I
yeah,
remember
because
their
it's
faces.
a beautiful experience. I mean, it's kind
Yeah.
of like being part of a birth process. And
Yeah.
the 2 are very, very similar.
Very similar, right?
Very, very similar
Yeah. Because
processes.
when there's a birth, there's a death,
Mm. Yeah,
or
and
or
also
vice
that
versa.
the nature of birth and the nature of death are
Yeah.
similar. You know, you think about
Yeah.
the babe in the womb, right? So the
Yeah.
babe is in this,
Mm.
in this womb, this comforted kind of womb. The soul has entered, right?
Yes, yes.
And it's about to begin the journey, but yet in order to begin this journey, it needs to go through, the arduous journey through the birth canal. And
Yeah.
there's something really important, and I think that we have done a disservice by our move towards mostly cesarean section
Mhm.
births, because there is something very sacred about
Yeah.
the moving through, the birth canal. Sorry,
Yeah.
looking
Yeah. Yeah, you're
yeah, looking through I'm sorry, moving through the birth canal, towards birth and going through that process.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
So, but I
exactly.
think like death is I think a similar kind of process. I think that, our consciousness, our being kind of travels through this kind of birth canal, and
Yes, and to the ancestors
enters,
are
yeah,
waiting,
and enters, to catch us, right? On the other end.
Yes, 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 Rainbow Bridge. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is. It's very interesting. Yeah, talking about death would be an interesting thing to.
Yeah, I just think that, um, it would be helpful if we talked about it more. Like
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
general,
Yeah,
if
just
we
exactly.
talked about it more and there wasn't this attitude where, you bring it up, like, if you've ever been with, family members or whatever, and you say, okay, well, when I die, I'd like, and they're like, no, 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 we don't need to talk about that right
Yes,
now. It's like,
exactly.
when would you like to have that conversation? You
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
it's just never a good time to talk about that.
And I wanted to tell you too,
Yeah.
because I wrote this, I don't know if you were in one of Liv's classes. I was in several of hers.
Hmm.
I don't know if it was the long class we were in, but the contemplate asked us, "How do you honor death more so? How do you honor death more so?" Well, I did write. I'll have to find my writings because
Mm-hmm.
I wrote it on how I honor it, and then I wrote another one because I think we were talking about death on one of the shows, and I was reading
Mm-hmm.
it, and I wrote it again. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what did I think of it now?
Mm-hmm.
Because that was a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Mm-hmm.
contemplate,
Mm-hmm.
um, how do you honor death more so?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good question for everybody out there.
It is.
That'd be
You know,
cool. Um,
it really is. And what is our resistance to honoring death? Like if we really do think that and believe that it is a sacred part of life, just like birth is,
yeah,
then it should have its place in our.
yeah,
Now we do have the death rituals where, we have the wakes, the funerals and all of that. And even that
right.
is kind of is kind of changing, but the whole process is, and kind of what happened during COVID was so tragic in that families weren't able to be with their dying relatives.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
very that's very, very tragic. Perhaps well, for both, but like that is an important part of it too. Is just being with loved ones, being able to say goodbye,
yeah,
being able
yeah,
to say goodbye is important, but, I also think, like, there's a process we kinda miss a little bit of it, before that, like,
yeah,
the whole,
yeah,
having conversations, and I'm sure that some people do more than others, I'm just saying, in general, it would be good if we kind of, normalized it a little bit more,
mhm,
and
mhm,
what I mean by normalize isn't don't become numb to it, but give it its due. Like it is as part
yes,
of like this, this sacred process, and we should,
and
talk
the
about it.
spirit process, like,
Yeah.
just
Hmm.
they show in movies how, you have to talk to the dead person, you have to tell them everything, blah, blah, blah,
Hmm.
where it's
Hmm.
really when I was with one man, I remember he was dying, and I was just holding his hand.
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
holding and just looking at him and just kind of, like, stroking his hand. I didn't talk with him,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
And, that's kind of what we did with my mother-in-law too.
Hmm.
Um, we just kind of I knew she was actually dying that day. I called my husband,
Hmm.
she was in a nursing home, and she just had this voice that it just I don't know,
Yeah.
something
You could
said
tell.
you could
Yeah.
just
You could
tell
tell. Yeah.
she was dying, so I called my husband, I'm like, "You need to get in here because" yeah. So we
Yeah.
just sat in her room with her,
Yeah.
and that's all. We didn't really
Hmm.
talk to
Hmm.
her.
But
I
yeah,
mean,
we're
you know, just kind of like maybe through my mind, I wouldn't talk out loud to her. Sometimes, like, it's okay, you can go." Like,
Mhm,
I would say that because maybe
mhm.
they're holding on. Sometimes people hold on
Yes. Yeah,
and
they
they don't
do,
and you
and you
just
can
want
you can let them
permission.
know. Yep,
Yeah, like,
you
"It's
can go.
okay.
You
We're gonna be
we're gonna be
okay.
okay.
We're gonna
Yeah,
be
you
okay."
can go. Yep,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's all really, really
It's
important.
fast yeah, I think it is. I think it is.
Mhm,
As much as we celebrate a birth, we celebrate people do have celebrations.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, celebrations of life,
Of death
af
and life. Yeah,
yeah, afterwards, so, the process leading up to it, I think is
yeah.
where, we're still kinda skitterish
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah,
talking about it and such.
yeah,
But,
yeah,
what else is on you know what? Last week,
yeah.
um, our very first podcast was on the first day of summer, and we had done that on purpose. We're like, "This is an awesome time to start a podcast. It's the first day of summer, and we're gonna talk about it." And we
Yeah,
didn't.
and we didn't. We
We didn't talk
didn't.
about it. I wanted to make sure we did. So it's the first week of summer, and it was it's summertime is a wonderful time. And of course, I've been talking about the summer squash, because people
Yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
growing and harvesting their summer squash and making wonderful casseroles out of it.
Yes.
But so gardening. We may have listeners who are gardening this summer. It's a wonderful time to do that. And I also think like um there's something, and we've talked about this, a way to be more connected to our ancestors is to really
Mhm,
kind of think about being more connected to the natural rhythm of the seasons. And of
mhm.
course, I'm a writer, so I like to think about the seasons metaphorically, and you see the seasons presented metaphorically and in a lot of, in literature and film and so forth, what spring represents, what summer represents, what fall and winter represents. But it's a kind of a natural, these are just natural earth cycles that
Yeah,
we're we haven't been that connected to in a way, or we've become disconnected to these natural earth cycles. And I've been living in Florida, and so it's a little easier to
Well,
be
yeah.
disconnected because you don't really get those seasonal changes. You see the seasonal change with the change in traffic.
Yes.
I mean, that's how
Yes.
many people are in the restaurants
Snowbirds.
now,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, but
So true.
it's not the same
No,
as
that's
living in a place with seasons. So that's one of the things that I've really been excited about,
yeah.
moving to Georgia, not as harsh as, like, say, going back to New England, but being in Georgia where I get to really experience the season. So I am looking forward to fall. Fall used to be my favorite time of year.
Mhm. Mhm.
But here we are in summertime, and summer is in I don't know about you, but like the way that we eat changes
Yes.
during the seasons.
Lighter
Yep.
eating.
Sleep patterns change,
Yeah.
so activity
Yeah.
patterns change, energy levels change.
Oh,
So
can I
it's
just tell
Yeah,
there was this
please.
beautiful thunderstorm last night. Do you
Mm,
remember? I have not experienced this kind of thunderstorm since a kid. My
okay.
husband and I were talking about it. We're like, "Remember when you had to go, 'Close all the windows, close all the windows,' the storm's coming." It was I love thunderstorms, I love thunder, I love hurricanes, I love
Mm,
being in Florida when there's hurricanes, those
mm,
winds, I love wind. So,
mhm.
it's like, it was so magical yesterday, and then a rainbow came out.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It was just magical.
Yeah, that's
So, that's
beautiful.
summer to me, those summer thunderstorms
Mhm.
where
Well,
the
in
rain and when it's
yeah.
raining and the sun's out and it's like, "Oh my
Mm.
gosh."
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
we had one of those storms here, and there was there was a little bit of thunder, but in Florida, and it's been recent
Yeah,
that
it's
it's got things have gotten a little more intense with the storms and with the wind and with the electricity. But I used to see some phenomenal
oh,
electrical storms
yeah,
in Florida, like just awe-inspiring storms in Florida. So it'll be interesting to see
yeah.
what Georgia has to offer.
I
Um,
know. I
but
mean,
I love
yeah,
that.
the
I love
thunder,
that.
it was all night, and it would wake me
Mm,
up. I was all night not crashing. The
mhm.
thunder, you could hear it in the distance, when you can hear the thunder in the distance and the light just flashes and
Yeah,
felt
like the rolling thunder.
the roll, it just kept rolling.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
hmm.
yeah.
There's almost something soothing
Oh,
to it,
oh, I love
when
it.
it's cracking and booming, maybe
No.
not so soothing, but when it's rolling in a distance, there's something about that. And
Ah,
I
there's
think that it's ancient. I think it's
yes.
ancient memories, where there's these associations, these ancient associations with that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sound of rolling thunder, and the
Something
sound of
about it.
falling rain and wind is, you want to sleep,
Yeah.
it's like
But you
it
wanna
really.
sleep, but yeah, you wanna stay up to listen to it. That was my struggle last night. It's like, "I just wanna
Mm,
listen to this. I just wanna
mm-hmm.
listen to this."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a beautiful experience, yeah, and
mm,
very much like summer. Well, in Florida,
oh,
you can
yeah.
almost set your watches to the afternoon thunderstorms.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, with the big puffy clouds.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So,
It's great.
but here I am in Georgia, and welcoming the seasons, and it's summertime. And so we were just going to mention that, and we're going to talk a little bit about um, the seasons, and what the season, what it means to us, and how we celebrate
Yeah,
with the seasons, and the rhythms of the seasons and so forth, the food of the seasons. Um, but I did want to mention that one thing that I've learned recently is how much people are gardening. There are
mhm.
more people gardening now than ever. There was something I was listening to recently, and you can check like how often something is Googled, right? There are stats for
Oh, wow.
how often a certain topic is Googled or the popular whatever, popular topics. And so there was these statistics that showed that, 2019, 2020, 2021, there was like a steady increase in people who were Googling stuff related to gardening.
Yeah.
And then there was this just exponential jump as we went into 2023.
Mhm.
And that's just an indication that there are more people, again, being called for
Yep.
whatever reason. It could be your ancestors, it could be just this inner knowingness that, we need to get
Mhm.
back to growing, even if it's just a little bit of your own food, even if it's just a few herbs in some pots on the
Yeah.
back porch.
Yeah.
There's we've got to kind of get back to that. Because I mean, we could talk all day about the quality of our food these days, but so there's more and more people gardening, whether they have a yard to garden
Mhm.
or a community garden like my
Community
sister
gardens are
does.
big.
It's
Yeah.
community gardens are very big, or even just pots on a porch.
Yeah.
They're really they've become quite more and more popular. So
Yeah.
so with
My son lives in this Philadelphia, in the city,
mhm,
South Philadelphia, and they have a little plot. You can get little plots at this school. And so him and
uh-huh.
his fiance grow their own they grow a lot of like you know, tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers. And so that's kind of cool if you live urban in the urban
Yeah,
well,
yeah, is you can, and
you can have
yeah, there's more and more of that available, like the little,
yes,
yeah.
little plots. They have just a little
Mhm.
plot and they go and they go every day or however often they go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get it.
My sister belongs to a community garden. This is up in Massachusetts though, and it's like on a hill. It's like on top of a hill, in this beautiful area. And they do this thing at the beginning. It's like it's on a certain day in May. It might be Memorial Day weekend, I'm
Mm,
not sure. They have plow day, and they make a whole celebration of they have these big horses come up to the community garden with these plows on the back, and these guys put these plows on the back, and they have a whole celebration. They've got like the barbecue going, they've got the kids out there, and everyone's celebrating
wow.
and watching the horses plow the garden,
Oh,
plow the dirt under.
wow.
And I thought,
I
wow,
would love
that's
that.
that's beautiful.
That's
That's
so
that's
beautiful.
beautiful. It's a celebration of and kind of like a celebration and anticipation of abundance. You got these horses out there, and they're plowing this really rich soil over,
Mhm.
and that the cow farm, the dairy farmer,
Oh, yeah.
they've delivered manure, and there's like
Right?
manure for everybody
Oh,
to use.
I love
And
the smell of manure. I
yeah,
don't know why. I love the
that's
smell
so weird.
with those certain winds, and it's like, yes, that just reminds me of cows. Yes, livestock.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
was a
Farmer.
pioneer. I
Yeah,
definitely
maybe a
was.
pioneer woman, or
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
was.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind
Yeah,
manure. I
I
don't
love
think
it.
I would be that as effusive as you are
Well, we
about
used to get it for
manure.
our gardens. We don't get it anymore, but we used to get it. I just do flower gardens. We don't really, maybe
Yeah.
we do basil and parsley, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
more of a flower garden type of person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
What I wanted to mention is one of the things that's been it's been around for a long time, but
Yeah.
it's making its return, and that is the concept of electroculture. If you guys
Mhm.
haven't heard of it, Google it, look it up. There's all kinds of videos out there. And really what it is it's the use of generally copper wound around. If you could you wound around something, like imagine a stake, like a wooden stake, that
Mhm.
you take a copper wire and you wind it around it from end to end, stick it in the ground by, yeah, I don't know, your tomatoes or your squash.
Yeah.
And what people are finding is what that it serves as like an energetic antenna that draws in the energy to the soil. And wherever you are doing electroculture, your produce you'll produce exponentially
Yeah.
your produce. There'll be more
Wow.
produce and larger produce, etc. And so that's just something, if you're gardening, even if you're pot gardening, even if you've just got some, raised bed, or you've got some pots, you could actually make a little something with copper wire, stick it in the soil, and see if it makes a difference in whatever it is,
Yeah.
you are, you know, you are
Yeah.
uh, you are growing. So,
Yeah. I
but
love
anyway,
that.
it's beautiful. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's a great time of year,
It
to
is. Like
to grow
like,
stuff.
it's summer when what? That's a question I have.
It's
It's summer
summer
when
when um everyone is making squash casserole.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. For
yeah.
m for me, it's summer when you hear the kids outside late at night,
Yeah, yeah.
playing with whatever in their
Mhm.
backyards. It's like, "Oh, school
Mhm.
is out. It must be
Mhm.
summertime."
It's summer when you hear the ice cream truck.
Yes! The ice cream truck, 4th of
Mhm.
July reminds me of
Mhm.
summer.
Mhm.
Yeah, the first
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's summer when you're walking your dog and you smell the charcoal burning
Yes!
of your neighbors, and your neighbor's steaks on the griddle.
Oh,
Right?
yes,
Mhm.
yes. I love it. I love
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
The public pools are open, you know
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's summer.
Yeah. I love it. And you see an occasional little lemonade stand on the side of the
Oh
road.
my god! That's a whole 'nother
Uh-huh.
story. My daughter was good at that.
Mm.
She was good at
Yeah,
that.
in the farmers markets, the kind
Yeah.
of the side of the road produce, which is always
Yes.
that sort of thing. The guy with the dump truck full of watermelons on the side of the road. Yeah, man, it's summer.
Oh, and
It's summertime.
the air smells different,
Hmm.
doesn't it?
Well,
Smells so different. Mm,
it's more, there's more blooming, you know.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
there's definitely more blooming, there are more
allergies,
flowers. Yeah, yeah,
more allergies,
there's that.
but I love it.
I do too. So it's a really it's a great time of
Yeah,
year. And so we're going to be celebrating it. I think we'll probably be talking more about summer foods to
uh-huh.
make and such. So that'll be a lot of fun. I did want to show you because I promised
Oh,
that, you
yes!
see,
Bucky's!
I have my Bucky's. This is my Bucky's t-shirt
Oh, if
that
you
I'm
guys don't
wearing.
know Bucky's,
Yeah, that was, an experience I had to have on the way. I had
right?
to stop at Bucky's and be overwhelmed because
Uh-huh,
that was the
uh-huh.
experience. It's an overwhelming experience, but I
I
got the t-shirt.
Good.
I got the
Yes, I'm so glad. Everybody look up Bucky's because they're building fast. They're
Yeah.
coming north. I think they're coming
Are
north
they? Oh, wow.
because we only experienced in Georgia. Yeah, for my
Georgia and
husband.
Florida. Yeah, there
Yeah,
are parts in Florida too.
yeah,
Yep, yep.
yep. You
So
got the
that's
Bucky.
I got my Bucky's t-shirt. It's all good. So
I love
yeah,
it.
welcome to Georgia. You've been to Bucky's.
You've been to
You have been initiated.
Yes, the cleanest place ever for
Yes.
a convenience place to stop. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And
Now,
my
go ahead.
No, 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 my husband I have not experienced it yet, but my husband has, and he's like, "Amy, you can eat off this floor." And he's a
Yeah,
particular type of person.
there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yes.
it matters.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
matters. It really, really does. So we're gonna wrap up. I think
Yeah.
we've chewed your ears off enough with our banter. We thank you so much for joining us. If you've been
Yeah.
listening to episode 2, it's been a lot of fun for us, and we hope that it's been fun for you and perhaps inspirational, and maybe you got a laugh out of it, or maybe I annoyed you. If I did, no, I apologize. I didn't mean to annoy you. But or maybe I did. I don't know.
It's
I don't
hey,
know.
hey, no.
I'm gonna blame Bucky.
Blame Bucky on that one.
I'm gonna blame Bucky from now on. It's
Bucky
Bucky's
the
fault.
Beaver. I love it.
All right. But thank you so much for joining us. Our contact links will be below, so definitely
Yes.
check those out. You can also check us out on Facebook. You can join our Facebook page at Pink Moon
Yes.
Lodge. You can subscribe to our YouTube, Pink Moon Lodge, or
Mm,
if you're on
Rumble.
Rumble, find us on Rumble at Pink
Yes.
Moon Lodge. Yeah,
Click
yeah.
like and
Click a
subscribe
like,
and
subscribe, share, all that stuff.
share, and stay magical, everybody. Just stay magical.
It's magical.
Stay
Is that how you're
magical.
ending it? Stay,
I'm
stay.
ending it with stay
You're
magical.
ending it with stay,
That's my little line at the end. Stay magical.
stay magical. All right. Okay. We'll go
You
with that.
know?
I'm trying to think of a comeback for.
Come
I'm trying to think of a comeback for that.
You'll
But
think of one.
you know what? We'll go with magical. Why not? We'll go with
Why not?
magical.
Come on. We're all
Stay,
magical.
stay. Stay magical, damn it. Just stay magical. All right.
All right.
And we will see you next week. Again, every Wednesday, look for us. It's been been a real joy to spend
Yeah.
our time with you. And I hope we made our ancestors chuckle a little today. It's a little
Yes.
kind of funny.
I love it.
And we will see you again next
Yes.
Wednesday. Thank you so much
Stay
for joining
magical.
us. Oh my God. Are you going to
Stay
keep saying
magical.
that? Oh God. Bye, everyone.
Bye.